Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly, and we're back with another Southwest Virginia fishing report with Matt Reilly. How's it going, Matt?
Going pretty good, Marvin. How are you?
I'm doing really well, and I imagine spring has sprung down in the Abingdon area.
Yeah, it's getting here. We still have, it's March, and in Virginia, we've had 20 degrees and we've had 60 degrees in the last couple of days. But things should stay on a warming trend here for the next couple of weeks. And I believe at this point I've run my last couple of muskie trips for the season, and I'm looking forward to smallmouth season and the spring trout fishing we've got down here too.
Got it. And what should folks be thinking about as kind of the smallies start to kind of wake up and they start to chase them after muskie season?
Yeah, so really the sort of the magical number is 50 degrees, when the fish start to kind of stir a little bit from their winter spots and they're thinking about, putting on a lot of weight, and they'll be moving to their spawning locations. And so, around that 50 degree mark, just a few degrees under it and a few degrees above it, you still find fish in those classic winter holes, deeper, slower moving water with some structure and plenty of food. And then as spring progresses and we work towards that 60 degree mark, you start to find more and more fish in good spawning sections of the river. And so right now, I'm not doing too much smallmouth fishing right now, but over the next couple of weeks, I'll start to do more. And, you're fishing fairly slowly on the bottom, crayfish flies, sculpin flies, hellgrammite flies, pretty slowly. And as things start to warm up, fish will be chasing a little bit more and start fishing a little, bigger streamers a little more actively and that kind of thing. But, fish are still pretty slow, on the river today. The high water temperature I got was like 47 degrees. So we're almost there, but not quite into springtime yet.
Gotcha. And what should folks expect on the trout side of the equation?
Things are good right now. Water levels are great. We're supposed to get a little bit of rain this week. Nothing too crazy, but it is going to be wet for the next week or so. But water's plenty warm. There's lots of active fish eating bugs, and over the next couple of weeks, we'll start to see some more tan caddis, and quill gordons will start popping up here probably around the middle of the month. And they're fun because they're the first real big mayfly that we have in the springtime. And when you get the hatches are kind of sporadic, but when you do have a good one, it can bring a lot of fish up, and it can be a lot of fun as long as you got the right bug. And then fishing nymphs that again are a little bigger. Quill gordon is a 12 to 14, and so I'll start fishing. Dark nymph patterns like pheasant tails, in that little bigger size. And that does pretty well when we've got those bugs kicking around.
Got it. That's really helpful. And we've got a question from Eric, and it's an interesting one. He's trying to multi-purpose some tackle. He bought a saltwater line for his 8-weight to chase inshore saltwater fish, and he was wondering if that would be a good line to use for fishing for smallies and other freshwater species.
Yeah, so it definitely can be. That's the difference between most saltwater lines and most freshwater lines are just sort of the temperature range that they're designed to cater towards. So you can buy, a bass line, which, a floating bass line, which generally is good for, moderate climates. And then you can buy tropical floating lines that are good for real warm climates. And you can buy, most saltwater lines are built for a little warmer climate. And the main difference is the core material. So most lines that are built for warmer, hot climates have a monofilament core, which just keeps the keeps the line a little stiffer when the air temps get real warm and the plastic coatings start to get soft. The more moderate, the lines designed for moderate climates and cold climates are generally have a core of Dacron, which is like what your backing is made out of. And it's very limp. So if you were to use that in really, really hot temps, or not even really hot, but, like what we can see in the summertime in Virginia, that plastic coating on your floating line can get soft and your line will just start to get kind of floppy. And so in those situations, middle of the summer in Virginia, smallmouth fishing, a saltwater bonefish or redfish line, would work really well, because there are times when, it doesn't get super hot down in my neck of the woods. The New River, we have a little bit of an elevation advantage over, say, the James, or more centrally located rivers. But, I've had some fishing situations where in 100-degree, air temps and our lines are getting a little floppy. So, there's definitely an application for it there for sure.
Yeah, and I guess generally most saltwater lines generally have a pretty aggressive taper, right? Because they're used to they're not for delicate presentation. They're for really kind of getting heavy bugs out pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, you're not casting, size 18 atoms for the most part. Mostly bigger bugs imitating crabs and bait fish and that kind of thing. So yeah, similar to what a bass line would be designed to cast. So I would say they're probably almost interchangeable, other than the fact that you wouldn't want to use that saltwater line in like the early spring when, air temp could be 50 degrees.
Got it. And remember, folks, keep the questions coming. Shoot them to us on the Articulate Fly Facebook page. And if we use your question, I'll send you some Articulate Fly swag, and you'll get entered into a drawing at the end of the season for some pretty cool stuff from Matt Reilly Fly Fishing. And Matt, it's not a report with you if you don't tell us what you've been writing.
Yeah, man. I got a piece coming out this week. It's just kind of a funny story about a musky float we did lately. I think the last time I gave you an article, it was about something along those lines. But it's called A Window of Opportunity, which doesn't really tell you anything about what the article is about, but it's kind of ironic relative to what what the words say. So it's hopefully it's worth checking out, but it was kind of a funny story and something that I think anybody who fishes could appreciate. So I'll send that to you, and we can get people hooked up with it. Absolutely.
I'll drop it in the show notes. And before I let you hop, why don't you let folks know where they can find you so they can book you and chase smallmouth with you, or maybe catch a little bit of the spring trout action?
Sure. The website is mattreillyflyfishing.com, and there's my email and phone number and all that on there. You can text me or call me or email me or whatever works best for you.
Well, that's great. Well, I really appreciate it. Well, folks, you owe it to yourself. Pack your rain jacket, but the next couple weeks are going to be really good for fishing, so you should get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Matt.
All right, tight lines, Marvin.